Ooh, it's been a little bit, hasn't it? In case you missed it from the first part, I'm a competitive Bopple Battle player, and in this series, I'll be explaining the fundamentals of Bopple Battle. In this guide, we'll expand on topics from the first guide, throw in some little things you can do to shake up your gameplay, and explore some advanced topics that often aren't acknowledged. One warning before we begin, this guide will lean more into the side of competitive play rather than casual. With that said, let's get started. Hopefully you already know how to move with WASD because we'll be covering a couple movement techniques. Let's start with moonwalking, the one you get an achievement for. There is actually a way to consistently moonwalk without spamming back and forth. Here's how you do it. First, start moving and hold towards the platform. Continue holding towards the platform through all of these instructions. As you're moving, let go of the button you're moving with and quickly tap in the opposite direction. Then let go of the opposite direction and keep moving the way you were. And bam. Moonwalks are applicable for very tiny baits. You can make your opponent think you're going the opposite way, then actually continue going towards them. Also, it's fun. There are other techniques too, and most of these are a lot easier, such as the super jump. To perform this, just jump as you're going upwards on a platform for a little more height. Another thing you can do is a jump cancel. This is where you jump off a platform early only to reattach to it as bait. There are some other options with the movement that involve certain abilities. For instance, with Rock and Drill, if you jump and instantly use the ability, you can carry your momentum with you. Similarly, you can jump off a platform and instantly use a holdable, bow, grenade, stuff like that, to get a better angle without giving up your position. In this section, I'll list some combos that have been popularized. Bogus Dash is one of the oldest combos discovered by Savage and Crocky back in the demo days. That was 2 years ago, oh my god. What makes this combo so good though? Well, for one, it allows you to threaten a huge area, and if your opponent doesn't respect that area, well...
I wish I was a little bit taller, I wish I was a baller, I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her. Wish I had a rabbit in a hat with a bat and a 6'4" father.
Bow and Gust are already phenomenal tools, and paired with the burst option that is Dash, they're even better. Dash allows for mistakes to happen, sometimes even giving you the win for messing up. Meteor Gust Dash is another good combo, as it's incredibly oppressive due to having Dash, Meteor, and Gust in the same combo. This combo forces the opponent to heavily focus on their positioning and punishes them when they can't position correctly. Some other good combos include Bow Blink Dash, Beam Shrink Dash, Rock Dash Grapple, don't play that one. There's a lot of competitively viable combos, and they all have one thing in common: synergy. In all combos, you should try to have a way to incorporate each ability into your game plan. For example, my main is Grenade Duplicate Grapple. Grenade can be duped by the Duplicator Ray, and I can grapple them to wrap around platforms. Duplicator can pressure space, which I can then follow up with a grenade, and Grapple lets me get in position to do all this. This section is a bit outdated because I wrote this script like 4 months ago. I don't play this combo anymore, I play Bogust, but it's a pretty fun combo if you like camping, so you should try it. If you can assemble a combo where all three abilities work well together, then chances are you just made yourself a great combo. This section will primarily focus on how to improve within the competitive server, link in description. There are plenty of high-level players there that remain consistently active, and some of them have chosen to become coaches. You can ask for help in the Training General channel as long as you specify what you need help with. Pigeon, Jake Cowan, Gary especially have been a big help to me, and the rest of the coaches are great too. So if you want to get better at Bopple, coaching is a great way to do so. And yes, it's free. When playing Bopple, be very conscious of what you're doing. Do you keep doing the same thing over and over? If so, try to mix it up every once in a while, especially if your game plan is relatively simple. How does your opponent react to certain things? If they respect your space, try baiting them to approach or switch to a counter pick like beam or any long-range projectile. Try to mix up your actions too. Don't always rush and don't always play defensively, especially if your combo allows you to do more than one. There are times when you have no choice but to play defensively or offensively though. When that's the case, mix up the tinier things, such as how do you get to your opponent. Do you go under the platforms to them or over the platforms? Do you spam abilities or do you conserve them? You should conserve them, by the way. Changing those tiny things every so often can make a big difference. Say you just can't beat an ability. Maybe you should consider counterpicking. Counterpicking refers to changing your combo that's to something that messes with the game plan of the opponent. You can counterpick abilities as well as counterpick entire combos. For abilities, let's use Beam as an example. Smoke is a good counter because you can throw the smoke on top of them as they use Beam. But what about an entire combo with Beam, such as Beam, Shrink, Dash? Maybe consider using Growth Ray to counter Shrink and Beam, as it gives you more room to dodge Beam. Or, you could use Smoke again to protect the platforms from Shrink and throw it on top of a Beam, as we mentioned earlier. There's tons of stuff like this in the game, but I'll list off a few. Blink Gun counters Grapple, Beam, Push, and other projectiles. Gust counters Smoke, Grenade, and Bow. Grapple counters Dash, and some abilities even counter each other, like Meteor countering Meteor, Grapple countering Grapple, and Gust countering Gust. And there's so much more. I could make a video on counterpicking in the future. What about the maps? Do they have a role in anything other than a playing field? As it turns out, yes, and quite a large one at that. You probably already know about the map with 2 spears where Blink Gun reigns supreme, or those maps with large, long platforms. They're perfect for rock and drill. Those are only a handful of maps though. How do the others stack up for these abilities? In fact, how good are they for your abilities? To determine how good the maps are for your abilities, you must know a lot about how your ability works and what benefits it. You must also know how your combo works, obviously. Once you know all that, ask yourself, what position benefits you? Do you want the high ground, or would you rather stick to the floor? Or is it not as important to you? Do you like platforms, or is it better to have them spaced out? Is your combo better on space maps with low gravity, or is it better with water to reflect off of? You will then use this knowledge to formulate your game plan. The goal of this guide is to scratch the surface of high-level play or get you into it. Now that you've learned about it, maybe you'll notice it in some of my gameplay or anyone on matchmaking or pros if you like to watch them too. Hopefully you will apply this to your own gameplay and hopefully it will help. This has been your intermediate guide to Bopple Battle. Thanks for watching.